Hello! Since yesterday I did recent video game pickups, I thought today I would do recent book pickups. Because not only do I like playing video games, and do I like watching movies, and writing movies, I also like to read books. Surprising, right? I have all these bookshelves, no books on them. The bookshelf is outside my door because there's no room in this room. But anyway, let's get started with the first two books because they both go hand in hand. Death Stranding, the novelization of Death Stranding. I really like the game because Hideo Kojima thinks outside the box. He wants to create something new instead of what's been done. He created the stealth genre. But yeah, this is their novelizations of the books, novelizations of the game. I started to read it a little bit. It's been a while. But yeah, it's just a novelization of the games. If you played the games, you read novelization. You know, you get to hear characters' thoughts. I'm for sure because I don't remember. You also, it's like you read a book. You get characters' thoughts. You get better descriptions of stuff. So yeah, I'm gonna try to give both of those a read because, if as you could tell, the font isn't all that small. So it could be a quick read. Next up is the Divine Comedy, Dante's Inferno, Purgatorio, and Paradiso. I watched, and by watched I mean listened to while I worked, to Wendigoon's video talking about them. So I was listening to it, but not really intaking what was being said. So yeah, this is going to be a little bit more of a longer read because if you can see, the font is kind of small, and on some pages it's even smaller. But yeah, it's an interesting story that I want to read myself, even though I listened to Wendigoon's videos. I wasn't absorbing the information. I was listening just to get the day to go by faster so I could get the hell out of work. But yeah, the Divine Comedy, I want to give this a read. There's not enough time in the day. But if I end up getting surgery on my foot, I'll have all the time in the world for a little bit. Wendigoon also made a video on this book. Again, I listened to it, not really absorbed it, and that is Paradise Lost. A lot of people say this is like the humanization or sympathy for the devil, which, from what I understand, isn't the case. This is going to be another kind of long read, because if you could tell, the font is, yeah, it's kind of small. Yeah, these are stories that I'm interested in, I want to read, which I will eventually, one day, someday, maybe, I don't know. Like with video games and movies, I buy them, I don't play them. I buy them, I don't watch them. Books, I buy them and I don't read them. So I have to get my read on. Set some time aside a day to read some good books. Now, this next one I did read. This is the short story plus other short stories by the author. That is I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream. One of my favorite short stories. One of my favorite stories ever. When people talk about AI taking over, they often mention Terminator. I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream is much worse case scenario. It's a short story. You can read it in under an hour. Again, there's other short stories in here which I haven't read, but I read I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream, and on the surface, the ending is very bleak, very depressing, but if you think and you look into it, like Wendigoon said, which I happen to agree with, it is a story about human triumph against adversity, but the end of the story is bleak, but but it's good that it's like human adversity, like triumph against adversity. But yeah, this book is very and honestly, if the world does end by AI and that is what happens, pray you're not one of the last five, because that would suck for you. Yeah. Next up is, I'm gonna go with this one first, is the manga adaptation manga of Ocarina of Time, which I believe I've read all the way through. Yes, I did. Yeah, it's Ocarina of Time. It's the manga adaptation, and it's a short read. Not gonna lie. I mean, yeah, it's manga. I'm pretty sure. I'm not 100% on manga, but I know that it took me really quickly to read this, and it does the whole game, but like kind of condenses it to make it quicker. But yeah, if you like Ocarina of Time, I highly recommend reading the manga version. If you like manga, I also recommend reading it, because if you like manga, you're gonna get it. So yeah. This next one, Majora's Mask and A Link to the Past. I read the, 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 Majora's Mask section plus that bonus story talking about Majora himself. with the dragon and everything. Again, it's the full story, but condensed to make it a little bit quicker. And Majora's Mask is my favorite Zelda game, and this was a very good read. I enjoyed it, and also like the color of the book. I'm not gonna lie, the purpleness of it, I don't know, it's pretty sweet. I want to get into manga and anime, but I just don't know where to begin. I don't know. Any pointers where I could start? Yeah. I want to be an otaku, and call me Otacon. Anyway, moving on. Batman Nightfall, Volume 1. I started to read it. I have yet to finish it. Again, it's Bane, my favorite Batman villain. Story about breaking Batman's back. Ezreal taking over and stuff like that. It's a very iconic moment in the Batman storyline. Yeah, whenever I read Batman comics, I read Batman in Kevin Conroy's voice. And with Bane, I make my own voice. I put a Spanish accent, you know. I am Bane, you know, fuck you, you know, stuff like that. Yeah, I want to finish reading this because I do like Bane. Makes me want to work out. Makes me want to do the 1,000 push-ups, sit-ups, meditation, all he did in prison. But I don't have time for that. Nobody has time for anything these days because we're adults and it's stupid. Anyway, Batman Nightfall. Once I'm done with this, I want to get the other volumes, Volume 2 and Volume 3. And this last one is actually a strategy guide, but I figured I'd throw it in here. I forgot to put it in my strategy guide collection video. The Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion Strategy Guide. It's a strategy guide with a lot of text explaining what to do, pictures. It's a good ratio of picture to text, I think, maps and everything. Yeah, Oblivion is a very good game. Skyrim's better, but I like Oblivion too. I like Oblivion as well. This is the strategy guide for it, which, you know, it's funny. I actually never beat Oblivion. I played it a bunch, but I never beat it. That's my fault. That tends to be the case. Yeah, this actually took a lot shorter than I thought it would. But, yeah, here are the books that I recently have gotten, which I want to start reading more. But not enough time. Anyway, or you know what? You make time. There's not enough time. You make time. Anyway, that's it for the video. Let me know what book in the comments what books you've been reading, what books you've recently gotten, and which book I should start reading of the ones that I showed. So yeah, it's just a short video. I thought it would take a little longer. I thought it'd go into more detail of the books, but I'm pretty sure I would go into more detail if I actually read them. But beside the point. Thank you all for watching. I will see you all later. God bless. Sweet dreams if you're watching this at night. Good morning if you're watching this in the morning. Evening, afternoon, all that stuff. So, yeah. I will see you in the next one. Catch you on my streams. Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Trovo, whichever one you want to watch. I might stop streaming to Trovo because Trovo is kind of, like, what's the point? Because nobody ever shows up. And not only that, but also, I don't think a lot of people know about Trovo. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. Anyway, bye. Mwah. Sweet dreams and all that. Have a good day, good night, good afternoon, good evening, good morning, good night, whatever. Anyway, bye. Click.